can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
What's up, though? What up, though, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Detroit Sports Alliance Lions Roundtable. We got a good show for you today because we got noise. I'm going to call it noise. I don't want to say news. It's noise, and it ain't been good noise. And we're going to make sure that we address that and then some for you. Now, let me be clear, people. We are going to do our best to keep this thing civil. But I can tell you some people are very upset with some of the information that has come out. So without further ado, let me go ahead and do the introductions. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have the man who started the movement in the first place because he just couldn't take it anymore and he had to go live. Mr. Micro Mike, what up, though?
Hey, I am in the building and I am still hot. Let's get this thing popping, man. Throw me in the microwave.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then next up, we have Mr. Noble Sports. We talk sports, period. TA in the building. What up, though?
What it do, baby? Let's go. I'm ready.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And today's guest, I repeat, today's guest subscriber is one Melvin Drew. What's going on, Mr. Melvin Drew?
What up, though, everybody? What's good with it? What's going on?
Woo! Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot to cover. If you have not already, please make sure you hit that like button. And please make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And do me a favor, retweet, post on Facebook, Instagram, Yogram, put it in mail by Bird, message in the bottle. Let everybody know that DSA is live right now. We got a lot to cover. Mr. Micro Mike, would you please do me the honors of giving the roll call?
For sure, man. What up, though, El Wormy, Gary DeRuiter, Dr. Dirks. Man, we got up in here Sean Diamond. We got Noble Sports. He's already here. Dr. Dirks, Jay Schultz, Chris Cashbaugh, Andrews Football. We got this thing popping, folks. If you have not liked this video, please do so. I see we got 30 in the building and 15 likes. Let's get it up to 30. What up, though, Marcus Corley? Folks, you can't hate me now, Mackenzie. We got a good one for you, and it's going to be fire because some stuff happened. Let's get it.
I mean, listen. I mean, there is no bigger news than Quandre Diggs being traded to the Seattle Seahawks for what amounts to a kiss on the cheek and have a good night. It's really rough to understand it, but the Detroit Lions decided to trade Quandre Diggs to the Seattle Seahawks in exchange for a 5th-round pick. Now, they gave up Quandre Diggs in the 7th, but I can assure you that was not enough. Let's get right into it. We're going to start off with you, Mr. Drew. How do you feel about this Quandre Diggs trade, man?
So let me start off like this. First of all, I don't think we need no more gasoline for the fire. Like, we don't need no 87. We don't need no 93. We don't need no more octane for this fire.
No, not one bit.
So let me be the calm one in the room today.
Okay.
Now, usually I'm peed off. I'm like every other fan. You know, when stuff hit the fan, I'm peed. So the last few weeks, I got a chance to have a sit back, and I'm in a relax mode with my Lions right now. But let me tell you about this trade. For me, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think it's one of those times where we got a fan favorite. We got a guy we groomed up, we done raised up, and got rid of him for some confusing draft picks.
Yeah.
But my take on a safety is a little bit different. It's kind of like right now, that's not our number one priority. Like, the reason that we're bad on defense is not because of the safety.
Yep.
I truly like him as a person. I like the fire he brought, and he was a total good, humble guy. But for us to get rid of him is not all that bad. And the only reason I say that is because I think we can always get good safeties in the draft. And I think that our number one priority right now is how can we get to this quarterback? How can we stop the quarterback from having 10 seconds in the backfield? So I hate the fact that we lost Quandre, but we need to figure out how to get to the quarterback, bro. And I'm hoping that's what Bob Quinn thinking. And I hope that this move sets up whatever his next move is.
I mean, it better. It really better, because I think what happens is when you look at this team and you look at what they're doing, you have to ask yourself, why him? And I think that Andrews football. Shout out to Andrews football. If you like the gambling side of things and you just want to talk a little football, definitely check my man's channel out. He always rocks with me, and I rock with him, and so make sure you give him some love. But he puts at the very good point that this right here was simply a message that 42 points would not be acceptable, and it's not good enough. Now, I don't know why he chose to make Quandre Diggs a message, but I can see that being a possibility. For me, I think that this move spells that either he's setting up something bigger in the trade market, or I think it means that 9 times out of 10, the Lions, just wanted to get anything they could for Quandre Diggs because they're going to go in a different direction, and they wanted to give the young guy, Mr. Harris, some play. What say you, Micro Mike, about this trade? I mean, I know you went live, but whoo.
I tried to take this to a business approach, and would he trade this player for a financial institution? If you see Technical Jeff, he breaks it down. It says cleared $1.6 million off cap space, Lions 19, 3.4, 20, 7.3. So when you look at it, it was not big money. So why would he then move this player? Okay, compensation. Well, we only get a 5th round pick and we swap 7ths. So I have a big question mark of why the hell we did this. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The only thing I could possibly think of is there has to be something in the works, because if it is not, Bob Quinn going to be barbecue Quinn soon, because getting rid of players for a 5th round pick for an individual that does not cost a lot, and he is an individual that brings pain to a defense. It's not all about the numbers. It's not all about, his tackling. It's about that fierce ferocity he would bring on the defense, hitting players. And wide receivers don't forget Quandre Diggs, man, because when he hits, he hits. He's like an Ndamukong Suh, and that's what I really liked about him. He was fierce on defense, and it put a little bit of fear in teams. Now we got rid of that, plus he was a leader. So there has to be something. There has to be something in the works. If not, I'm very clueless on this. I don't understand it. I tried to look through, a business approach, and I can't see it.
Even if you look at it from the business side of it, and you just look at it and you say, okay, they're doing it for the money. The question becomes, and if I were to take the theory that Andrew Football poses, which is this is a message to the rest of the team. When I go to look at contracts, he did have the most cap-friendly contract to pull this message off. Here's a guy who's a captain, who is a fan favorite. What better way to send a message than to say that this is not acceptable? But my issue is this, and anybody who watched this team knows that Tracy Walker has outplayed all the safeties back there.
Yes.
But my issue is with this is this something that you can look at and say, oh, it makes sense in any form of fashion? What say you? I mean, cause I know when the trade talk came out, we were talking off air.
Yeah.
TA, what say you about the trade? How are you feeling about it?
Man, this can go a lot of different ways, man. I feel a lot of different ways about the situation. The number one thing that I feel about the Quandre Diggs situation, because he is a guy that plays with fire. He is a guy that plays with passion. He is a guy that may be small in size, but the guy delivers a big blow. And definitely that will be missed from Quandre Diggs. Seattle Seahawks, I'm just letting you know right now, if any of your fans are listening right now, Quandre Diggs is definitely a solid safety. I have to agree with Melvin Drew as well. You can get a safety anywhere. But at the same time, it was a puzzling event that took place today because we was not thinking about this. We wasn't thinking about Quandre Diggs being traded. So when I first saw and I heard the trade, I said, this can't be real. This cannot be happening. We were talking about it off air. Like, man, yes, this is real. Quandre Diggs has just been traded to the Seattle Seahawks. So when I started looking at the situation, I'm thinking like, well, is the Lions blowing this thing up? What are they doing? Are they rebuilding? What's going on? What was the message in the bottle that they were sending to the rest of the team? Because you're getting rid of a guy that played with passion, a guy that would give his all. He would give you his right arm if he could. Quandre Diggs was that type of player for us, man. And he was one of those guys that we were grooming, man. We were grooming him under our system. And now all of a sudden the Detroit Lions decide to make a puzzling move on today, and a very bizarre move on today, by sending him away to the Seattle Seahawks, which we already know that the Seahawks have one of the better defenses in the NFL. And now they're getting a solid safety back there.
I mean, and I get it. I get it. And let me just put this quick disclaimer out there. If you hear some weird snoring or snoring or a little bitty moan, I am holding my baby. So I'm on daddy duty, and I'm still trying to be here for you, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what you may be hearing. So I just want to give you that quick heads up. But I think most people are upset at the compensation. I think the fifth round pick will upset people. So it brings me to my question, and we'll start this off with you, Mike. Would you have been as upset had we had gotten more? Let's say we end up getting, say, a player that could have upgraded the defense or upgraded the offense, or maybe we got a second round pick for Quandre Diggs. Would you have been upset?
I would then have not been upset, because as long as the compensation is worth the player, that's fine. We definitely need help on the defensive line. If we would have got a defensive line or a edge rusher, that totally makes sense in my opinion. If we got an offensive line that can open the hole, maybe an interior right or left guard, that makes total sense. Just for me, for a fifth round pick for a starter who is very intense and he's a leader, he's a captain, and then swapping a seventh round pick, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And so if the compensation would have been better, I would get it. Like when we traded for Snacks Harrison for a fifth, man, I felt like we did a great trade there. We got an individual for a fifth round pick that's going to help our defense out. When we traded Golden Tate for a third round pick, that made sense because he was not going to sign with us for another year. This one, it doesn't make as much sense because of, again, you look at the pay, you look at what he did for the defense, and I just feel like we did not get enough for him.
Well, you know, and me personally, this is how I look at it. Sometimes you gotta set something up. Like, for example, in life, you may decide to make a move from one job to the next. Now, you may be at a job that may be paying you big money, and then you may look up and say, yeah, but if I go to this job that's paying me a little less money, it still sets me up for a bigger move. This could be one of those moves, but make no mistake, I'm not happy about the trade because I feel like we finna get a whole lot of the one player that I don't want to see on the field. He's too inconsistent, and that is Tavon Wilson. And I also don't feel that Will Harris is ready to get in there big time. Now, I'm just looking at it like, if we were going to make this move, we needed to make this move that was going to be done. So me, the compensation, would that have made me not as upset? Probably not. He still had 2 years left on his contract. So you know that they don't got to worry about him for 2 years, you know, and we ate some money to make that move happen, but for a fifth. Now, let's say they take that fifth and they go out and pair it with another draft pick and they pick up a Jamal Adams. Well, at this point, it doesn't seem like it was a bad move. Hindsight is 20/20 every single time.
Right.
But he has to go and make a move that makes sense.
So Luke, do you think this move was made to set up a bigger move on today? You know what I'm saying? Do you think that's the reason why they made the move?
I mean, I think it is a move to set up. I mean, especially given the news about Kerryon Johnson. And also I think that just given the fact that they want somebody who is more of a enforcer back there. You got a guy with ball skills in Tracy Walker, but you want more of an enforcer, somebody with ball skills and the enforceability. But what say you though, Mel? I mean, if they got more for the pick, would you be more excited or less excited or what?
Like I said, I got a neutral. I'm from a neutral aspect on this one. Do I think a fifth and a 7th-round trade was compensation for what Quandre Diggs brought to our team? Not really. But when I think about it, I got to say two things. For one, do we trust in Bob Quinn taking that 5th-round pick and doing something with it? You know what I mean? We just, you know, not even 2 months ago, we was excited about how good this guy drafts picks. You know what I mean? And we can't get away. I know we in the season and our record not where we wanted to be, but we can't get too far away from what we were saying before the season started, which was this guy can draft. He made some good draft picks this year. Let's not get away from that. He knows something. He knows what he's doing. But to make this move right now, I think the other thing that I think that comes with it is Quandre Diggs the reason we 2-3? Is he the reason that we won 2 games, or is he the reason that we lost the other games and tied the other one? So the balance with him being traded for a 5th and 7th round pick don't bother me as much as is that safety gonna be the reason that we should be 6-0? You know what I mean? Because it don't bear that much weight to me to get rid of him and address other issues. So I'm with you with the same question that if they're gonna make this move, he gonna make this move to go out and get a better pass rush, or if he gonna pair that draft pick up to go pick up another player that's gonna help us in the trenches, then I'm fine with all that. And we got to watch that play out. But even if he don't, we got to start asking questions about where we at in this season. Do we feel like we're gonna be a wild card team? Do we try to make a push for that, or is he setting up? Is he trying to make the team better for the long run? Because at this point, where do we stand in the standings? You know what I mean? How do we look versus other teams? And I'm not saying I haven't looked at it, but I'm just saying these questions that they need to start asking themselves 6 games in the season and looking at the rest of the field and wondering where they're going to stand at the end of the season. So
yeah, I totally get it, man. You know, it's a perfect way to segue off into this next question is, what are your thoughts on Bob Quinn after this trade? We'll start this off with you, TA.
Well, basically my thoughts with Bob Quinn would be this. What is he doing? You know what I'm saying? Yes, like Melvin Drew said, you know, we all came into the season and we were very optimistic, or we were very ecstatic about some of the moves he made in the offseason. But at the same time, this was a very puzzling move today. And now I'm just thinking, you know, what is, you know, in the words of my boy 313 J-Mo, what is Master Chef Bob Quinn cooking up? Because you need to get some pass rush. That's been an area where we have been locking it. And I'm not just saying this season. It's been a couple seasons where we have not been able to get the pressure that we need. So much more than the safety play from the Detroit Lions. It's been that pass rush that's not been able to get to the quarterback. And I got to agree with Melvin Drew on that definitely that has been one of the aspects of why we're not as good as we should be this season. But at the same time, I'm still trying to know, and inquiring minds want to know, what is Bob Quinn really doing? And I just can say right now, I don't know. I have to sit back as a fan and watch, and hopefully he'll make the right decisions. But getting rid of a guy like Quandre Diggs, you got to make up for that. You got to make up for it.
I got to be honest, man. When I looked at this whole trade and everything that went down, the first thoughts was, okay, what is he coming up with? What does he have in the bed? What could be the possibilities? And then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you don't make a move like this unless you got something that you're trying to do that you think can improve this team. So my thoughts is this: either one, prove me right that I think you're doing something big, or two, prove me wrong. And now I got to ask questions about, you know, if what you've done is starting to become a question for me. And one of the things that I looked at when it came to this team was, are we getting the right players? And I think we are, but are we utilizing them? When I think about what this trade means to me is, it's the same thing it's meant for all the other players. We're not settling for mediocrity, and that's just the bottom line. He is continuing to show that he has no problem pulling the trigger on the youth movement. But this right here really bothers me, because one of the things that I talked about with the idea of trading somebody like, say, Darius Slay, was you're going to disrupt the locker room, because what they're going to look at is, oh, you're just going to trade a guy who wants to get paid. Why would I stay here? Now, if you telling me that somehow, some way he mess around and finesse the Denver Broncos out of Von Miller for Quandre Diggs, would I be any happier? No, because I believe that, yeah, you can have him, but we still got bigger problems than that. So it's hard sometimes, but you know, you have to kind of trust the process. We may not like how it looked up front, but we have to trust the process. And that's not me blowing smoke up nobody. But what say you, Mike? I mean, what are your thoughts on Bob Quinn after this trade?
Initially, I was talking to you and TA, and I thought you guys were just give me some razz when you said Diggs got traded. I just started laughing.
Yeah, we was for real.
One. And then I thought that I seen it for real, and I said, "Okay, I'm going live right now, man." So my initial thoughts is okay. Either, in my opinion, either he's got something else cooking up, or he really believes in Will Harris, and he may be doing what he did with kind of the Golden Tate trade last year near the same time. I think he's got something cooked up. Again, just like Melvin Drew said, something that we've been saying forever now is we need pass rush. Pass rush is the number one need for this team right now. Quarterbacks are just sitting in there. You could have the greatest safeties, the greatest cornerbacks back there, but if you get a quarterback 10 seconds, they're going to pick you apart no matter who's back there.
Right.
They must get pass rush. So in my opinion, he's got to be cooking something up. He can't be throwing in the towel right now, in my opinion, because when they went this offseason, they went hard, man. They picked up a lot of free agents, literally did everything they could to upgrade the roster, in my opinion, for the reason because they felt the heat from last year. So for us to be 2-3-1 for them to throw in the towel, it's hard for me to actually believe that. So I think something's got to be cooking up, and he's got to do it. He's got to make a trade and to upgrade this defensive line and possibly the offensive line to open up holes. And oh no, Kerryon just went down. So something's got to be up. I know it is frustrating because Quandre Diggs is a fan favorite. He's my favorite player. He's a great player, but we got to see what takes place until the trade deadline before we can just go nuts on this guy. If nothing happens, I'll be the first one, man. You know that. I'll be the first one.
All right, now Pick Six Sports says my favorite new podcast, Detroit Sports Alliance. Great show. Hey, appreciate you for being here, man. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday. We generally start at 7. My schedule has changed, and I have very little kids. I got to kind of work it around where I can get some of them to sleep, so it's kind of hard. But nonetheless, we do this every Tuesday and Thursday. We do pregame and postgame shows, so you want to make sure you subscribe to all the members of the DSA because we do rotate the channel, the show between channels, so each person get a chance to kind of host the show, and the other people can kind of just be a part of it instead of trying to operate the boards and stuff like that. So appreciate you for being here. Also, if you have not done so, make sure you hit that like button. Or in this case, I'll let the man who says we talk sports periods get it. Mr. TA, please tell the people what they can do to help the DSA out.
Man, you guys can pretty much get them likes up. You know how we like to get those likes up. Make sure you guys get the likes up because we want to get as much people as possible. Definitely, man, this is a great show on tonight, and we want you guys to be able to be a part of what the DSA is doing. And you know this thing is a community. So, guys, make sure you get those likes up when you get in the chat room on today.
Absolutely. But this brings me to the next question, man, because the first thing that I saw so many Lions fans say immediately after this was done was the Lions are tanking. Does this trade mean the Lions are tanking? We start off with you, Mr. Melvin Drew.
No, man. You can't possibly think that one player. I mean, if they was trading Matt Stafford, okay, that'd be something different. If they was trading Kenny Galladay, that'd be something different. I mean, Quandre Diggs is a hell of an impact player, bro. But to think that they're tanking is a bit of a stretch. Now, we still got 10 weeks or 10 or 11 weeks left in the season. Priority number one is win next week. You know what I mean? Win next week. And let's keep watching the tables turn because the NFL season is long. We could possibly squeak in as a wild card. Who knows what's going to happen the next 10 games, bro? Nobody. So let's let that play out. And then, with the moves that they're making, let's see if he's trying to set up a move for next year. I don't think it was that, like I said before, I love Quandre Diggs. Hell of a player. He brought a lot of intensity to our defense. But is he the reason that we're losing? No. Is he the reason that we're winning? No. So we got to be thinking a little bit ahead, and at the same time, we got to stay within the season. So I don't think we tanking at all. I just think we need to win a game, and on top of that, we need to get to the quarterback. We need to win a game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
First and foremost, we need to win the game. And in case you did not know who we were talking to, this is subscriber Melvin Drew. If you are in this chat, let me just tell you how you get on the show. You simply find me or Micro Mike or some member of the DSA on Twitter. All of us have our Twitters linked on our page. You can hit me up on Twitter. Or you join my Discord. I respond to everybody in Discord. The people in Discord will tell you. We have a very good time talking about the game when it's going on. It gives you a whole lot of people, and I mean a whole lot of people to talk about the games that's going on with the Lions. And then on top of that, you just come in there, you send a message and say, hey, Luke, I want to come on the show. We would then figure out how to get you on and explain to you what needs to happen and get you on the show. And you can be a part of the round table and come talk sports with us. It is just that simple and that easy. And we will do this as long as you guys are interested in it and want to be a part of the show. So just make sure you hit one of us up and you will be on the round table. But let's be honest. Mike, are they tanking? I mean, what you think?
No. You got to think critically here when it comes to what Shannon got deleted by JGB. So, I'm sorry, I seen the chat. When you got to see what Bob Quinn has done in the offseason, he literally went full crazy here. He went and got Flowers, Coleman, Jesse James. He got pieces that we needed to win now. What I saw from this offseason, I became a YouTuber. I literally saw this team making moves that they have never made before when it comes to competition. I feel and I felt that Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia felt a lot of heat after last season. You let Caldwell go after going to the playoffs for a couple of years. You bring in Patricia and he goes 6-10. I felt this offseason showed that he knows he's got to win. Anyone to suggest that that's not the case, to me, I just think that's not correct. And for them to tank now, it would make no sense. It would literally be saying, okay, guys, I don't want to be a Detroit Lion anymore. Because if we do another 6-10, I guarantee you that seat will be hot like lava.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No doubt about
Tell
it.
the truth now.
And so for me, for them to assume it's tanking, I don't see that at all.
Yeah. Now I see a lot of people that says I'm not a Twitter guy. Bruce Betterly. If you're not Twitter, you can always hit me up on the Discord. I answer those faster, but if not, you can always email me. I am slower to my email because at work I literally have to maintain 2 emails. It is very irritating when that little bing goes off. It's like a little nerve breaks in my head. I lose a nerve every minute that thing beeps. So if you are not on those, you can still reach me via email. All that information is linked in there as well. So you don't have to be on Twitter. You can join Discord. It's a very fun app. It's easy to use. It's not hard or anything like that. And it's a community in there, and we talk a lot of sports. So no doubts about it. Here's my thing. I don't think we're trying to tank. I think this team is still trying to win, and I think this team is trying to run the table. And I think what you're seeing is he's saying to himself, where do I get the best assets to survive at? Now, tanking to me would be trading Stafford, would be trading Marvin Jones or somebody like one of our big name people. That would be a tank to me. But outside of that, I do not get the feeling that they're tanking. In fact, one of the things that Martha Ford has said many times before is that she wants to win, she wants to see a winner, and she wants a Super Bowl before she die. And she's not playing about this. She's serious, and that's why she's not playing, because she feels like time is not not in her favor. So for me, tanking is not a realistic thing. But I wouldn't be surprised. But this brings me to the other part of the equation. Kerryon Johnson today was placed on IR after having knee surgery. So he is officially out for the season. We don't have a Kerryon Johnson. Our running backs as it stand now is Trey Carson and Ty Johnson, and I believe JD. Yeah. So
JD McKenzie.
And you might as well throw Jamal Agnew in there because they're going to use him in a lot of jet sweeps and stuff like that as well. Now that we got that out the way, in Discord, a question came up that I thought was actually entertaining. And that question is Kerryon Johnson the new Javid Best?
Wow.
I mean,
Wow, that's a great question. That's a great question.
That's what we're
That's
at
a
right
great
now.
question.
Is Kerryon Johnson the new Javid Best? Now, before you answer those questions, okay, all right, fellas, I want to give you a little bit of information because I want to be fair. All right.
Yep.
When he said this, I thought about it, and he also talked about that Kerryon Johnson is no more different than Amir Abdullah. So I went out and I took Amir Abdullah's first 2 seasons and I compared it to Kerryon Johnson. So here's what I got. In 2 seasons, okay, 2 full seasons, Amir Abdullah and Kerryon. Amir Abdullah played 18 games. Kerryon played 16. Amir Abdullah had 161 attempts. Kerryon had 210. Amir Abdullah had 698 yards rushing. Kerryon had 949. That is literally a 251 difference in yards. Amir Abdullah's had 2 rushing touchdowns. Kerryon has had 5. Amir Abdullah's had a 36-yard long, was his longest rush. Kerryon's was 71. They numbers are scarcely close, people. So I just want to put it out there. The question of the day is Kerryon any better than Amir Abdullah? And is Kerryon now the new Javid Best? We'll start this off with UTA. Let's talk to the people.
Wow. Okay, Luke, not a problem. When I'm looking at Kerryon Johnson, I'm looking at a running back that dealt with some injuries in college. And, we drafted him, and rightfully so. There's so many different running backs that season when Kerryon Johnson came in that I wanted to take. Sony Michel, Nick Chubb, Rashard Penny. There's some other guys that I wanted to take, Royce Freeman, things of that nature. I'm just speaking on a couple running backs that came in that class. But the biggest thing is I know that Kerryon was dealing with some injuries. And, most players do deal with injuries, no matter when you come in. But at the same time, this has been very puzzling for man, it's been very puzzling, man, because Kerryon Johnson, we have lifted him up to be, that next thing for the Detroit Lions since he was the one to be able to rush over 100 yards. But at the same time, Kerryon has been hurt 2 seasons in a row, and this is not looking good, guys. And we're talking about another knee injury. Now, I don't know if that knee injury is to the same knee, but we're talking about a guy that, to me, Kerryon body type is very slender for a running back. Most running back have big arms. They're pretty bulky type guys, and Kerryon has so he's kind of a wiry type of guy. But to say he's like Javid Best, I just don't know yet, but it's looking like he's headed that way. He's trending towards being another Javid Best, and you don't want him to be another Javid Best because we really wanted to put all our eggs in the basket with Kerryon, because Kerryon was going to be the guy to lead these other backs. And now, because you haven't given Ty Johnson all those opportunities to get more carries in the game, now you're putting more pressure on him. Now you're going to have to go out and try to make a deal and try to get another running back in here that's going to be good. I always said that I thought that the Lions should have went after Kareem Hunt. We had an opportunity. I understand that, we like to get these choir boys and things of that nature, but sometimes you need a guy that got that dog mentality. And I definitely think that the Detroit Lions need to make a move to grab Kareem Hunt in the offseason because he's only on a 1-year deal.
Well, he's gonna get re-signed. He's gonna get re-signed by the Browns. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah. But the biggest thing is, what I'm saying? I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's gonna sign with the Browns. But the biggest thing is a lot of people are going to come after Kareem Hunt because he is a great running back. But at the same time, with Kerryon Johnson, it looks like he's headed down the road of being injury prone, and that's something that we do not need right now. We need our guys to be out there. So that's what I want to say about him.
Now, Chris Cashball says, what was the passing difference on the two, Luke? Or did I miss it? No, I did not say it. Amir Abdullah, 30 receptions, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's an 8-yard average. Kerryon Johnson, 41 receptions, 339 yards, 2 touchdowns, 8.3. They are very close. Very close. And if that's not enough, when you go through and you look at their per game differential, 38.8 yards for Amir Abdullah in 2 seasons and 59.3 for Kerryon. Amir Abdullah had 8.9 yards attempts, 8.9 attempts, and Kerryon had 13.1. So, and the touchdown ratio for that is literally 0.1 for Amir and 0.3. I mean, they are scarcely close. I'm talking about big time close. Make no mistake about it. Here's my thoughts on it, though. Excuse me. Even with all that, I think that Kerryon is still better than Amir Abdullah. I do think he's better than Amir Abdullah because he's a better blocker than Amir Abdullah and Javid Best. However, this is the second season, his second season, and he has been hurt and has not finished. Last year, he played 10 games. This year, he played 6. Next year, we pray that he get through 16. There's a problem, okay? And when you got a guy getting hurt this much, that's where the comparison starts. In my opinion, Javid Best was a threat. Throwing the ball to him, hitting the hole, and being gone, that was a different beast.
Yeah, he was.
That was a different beast. So for me, I don't want to say that, but I can certainly see the comparisons in terms of saying that, listen, these guys have not had no real separations. But what say you, Mike? Is Kerryon Johnson our new Javid Best? And if he is he any better than Amir Abdullah?
He is not the Javid Best. Javid Best had a top speed that was like no other. Man, if he got into the backfield there and there was no one around, he's going to the house. His injury was concussions. This is knee. Anytime you draft a player with injury history, it's a 50-50 dime. The person could continue to have injuries throughout the career, or they can magically be healed. When it comes to running back position, it's one of the positions that really beats up a body, and it tears you up. And now he's already had knee injuries before. I think this is showing towards an injury-prone player, and it's sad. It's really sad. He did have potential, but I do feel like this is probably not going to last because of the injuries, unfortunately. When it comes to Amir Abdullah, I don't know, man. I think he's bigger and he's stronger than Amir Abdullah. I think he was definitely more patient than Amir Abdullah. Amir Abdullah had always hit the hole like just right then and there without no patience. In that sense, I compare him to the great R2 Spinner. Not
yeah, R2's and Abdullah. Yeah,
don't even bring that name.
Right.
People in here like R2's who? Who did you say?
Man, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah, man, the tooth is loose. So, but the running back position has been an issue for the Lions for some time. It's sad because I think they're going to have to make a move to get a player. I definitely do think they need to make a move to get a player. I wanted Kareem Hunt as well.
Yes,
you know
I love
that.
Kareem Hunt.
Unfortunately, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
We shall see. I have a great idea who it's going to be, and we'll find out soon enough.
Okay. Now, Pride Time B says, I'm feeling cocky right now. A lot of the things going on with our players, I predicted. Yeah, if you predict it, man, then shout out to you.
Shout out Pride Time.
I always want to make sure I give credit to those who are thinking outside the box and who are saying things that many people may think is crazy. I often get told that I'm crazy because I think outside the box, but I'm always thinking in terms of how the game is played, and that's just the way it is. But before we go a little bit further, we got 99 people in the chat. Can we get those likes up, ladies and gentlemen? Get those likes up. Make sure that you hit that like button. That gets this video in circulation so other Lions fans can find it, and it helps build the community. Building a community where Lions fans can come here and talk to other people is where we want to be, and this is where we can have our most success. But I mean, Mel, you heard us talking about it. Javid Best, man. That's what this guy came into the Discord and said. Javid Best.
I'm taking Javid Best. I'm taking a healthy Javid Best over Kerryon. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You and me both.
Yeah,
you and me both.
About two healthy running backs.
Best has so much potential.
He was so explosive, bro. It was ridiculous, man. That first couple of games he had, I was like, oh, we got one.
Mm-hmm.
But that quickly faded away when he tried to do the somersault, cartwheel, Cirque du Soleil, flip to the end zone. And he quickly found out that he wasn't no acrobat or no doggone whatever they call them, Olympic flippers. But no, man, I ain't gonna compare that. No, listen, Matt Quinn. I mean, Bob Quinn knew exactly what he was getting in Kerryon. They knew he had a bunch of tread on his tires. They knew he was overworked at Auburn. And I think that's one of the reasons why they ain't bringing back at the end of the season last year. They like, okay, you know what I mean? We got a 50,000 mile tread tire, and he got about 35 on him coming into the league.
Right.
We need to save some of this tread on his tires. And I think that's why they didn't put him out there last year. They were like, you know, let's hold up on him. And it's crazy because just like y'all, I was on Twitter earlier, man, and I didn't even know. It was somebody tweeted out his high school injuries. Like, this dude been injured since high school, bro. I mean,
he's been playing through injuries a long time.
Man.
And you know, it's funny when you say that, Melvin. It's also the idea of expectation for somebody like that. But that, again, we be in Discord, and Discord give me ideas, and I go with it. And one of the things that somebody in Discord said was, we letting TJ Hockenson off the hook. This is what they said. They said that if that had been Eric Ebron dropping the passes that TJ Hockenson has been dropping and not doing the things that he's doing, we would have ate him up. They said that if that had been anybody else, we would have given it. And it got me to thinking, like, seriously, are we as YouTubers, are we as a media source, we as fans letting TJ Hockenson off the hook a little bit because he's a rookie? What say you, TA?
Are we letting TJ Hockenson off the hook?
Yep.
No, we're not letting him off the hook. We shouldn't let him off the hook. I mean, there's standards and expectations for every player on the team. And right now, you know, even though he's a rookie, Hockenson has been dropping balls, and he has to hold on to the ball. That's just plain and simple, man. Hockenson is going to have to hold on to the ball. He has been making some great catches, but at the same time, he has made a couple catches in the end zone that he should have probably held on to. And if he holds on to a couple of those, we might win a couple games. You just never know. But TJ Hockenson is a rookie, and rookies in their first season, they have to learn so many things. They, from the blocking schemes to going out and catching passes. So it's a lot of things that Hockenson has to know out there. But at the same time, I think that eventually he'll grab hold of it. Right now, he having a slow start. You know, I know we was hyped because it was the first game of the season. But once you start getting in towards the middle of the season, once you come off that bye and you really have to start playing some football games, then you can really make an assessment on where TJ Hockenson is really at.
Yeah, I agree. And the only reason I don't think that that we should be too critical of him, because there was a particular tight end who had a ton of drops his first couple of seasons and a couple of miscues, i.e. one Tony Gonzalez. That career flourished into something great, Hall of Fame like. So yeah, he's a rookie. That's probably why I haven't went completely ham on him, but I was highly ticked off in the few games where he dropped it, because I'm like, yo, I can't take it. You know, Green Bay, Kansas City. I'm like, I can't do it, man. We got to stop these drops, man. And it's hard when you look at this thing, you know. So you know, one of the things that I always say to people is if you're going to judge the player, fine, judge the player, but make sure you understand the situation and the circumstances surrounding that player. What say you, Melvin Drew? You think we too light on the rip?
My thing is this. First of all, no, we're not too light on him. We need to criticize the rookie, even though he's a rookie, for dropping balls after you was one of the least dropped pass catchers in the college. So we can't not let him off the hook. But at the same time, I keep saying to myself, where Jesse James at, bro? Like,
yeah, that's true.
They put them in some. They put Logan Thomas. I see him in more high situational football than I do see Jesse James. And I think Jesse James, he's a proven tight end in this league, and we went and signed him for a reason. And I'm thinking now that, like, maybe that first game sent everybody into some type of mesmerizing perception that TJ Hockenson is the next Gronk. Was I excited the first game when he called all that, when he went off? Yeah, I was. But at the same time, as I saw a drop here and a drop there, especially the two that I can think of that was in the end zone, I keep saying to myself, like, Where Jesse James at, bro? Like this guy, like he was in Pittsburgh. If he wasn't doing nothing, he was catching third down and he was catching tough passes. Like I can remember that. And he didn't ever get the opportunity. So are they seeing something on the practice field or what is they seeing something that we not seeing to the point where they not putting Jesse James in those situations to catch no balls? Like I'm not getting that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're definitely not utilizing the talent that we got. I'm not gonna even play with that. It took an injury for us to even see Ty Johnson back on the field, and I'm like, why? So
one more thing, real quick, Luke. That time that he did drop that ball, I was thinking to myself, why didn't go right back to him, bro? Like,
bro, yes.
Why not go right back to the rookie? Like, I don't think he was gonna drop 2 in a row, and I definitely
give him the confidence.
My man beat. You know what I mean? Like he was gonna get over him again.
Absolutely. And the crazy part about it is when you look at it, you have to ask yourself, like, why not utilize all the right weapons? And sometimes when the play work, go right back at it. They not listen. If you can't stop it, you can't stop it. It is what it is. And it's very concerning. But it's one of the things where we have to be able to say to ourselves, okay, how much more is we going to start say it's the players when we have the talent? Yeah. We have the talent, and that brings me to another question because I'm trying to. I got literally a lot of questions, people. So I'm trying to get through all of them. But that brings me to another question, which is: should we be more critical of offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell? Because again, one of the people on the last show that we had said the only reason that we even praised Darrell Bevell was because he's just slightly better than the guy who's now a running back coach over in the Jets. So my question to you, Mike, is, should we be way more critical of offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell?
We should be critical. It's always important to be critical, specifically because we have big guys, just like Morgan was saying. Jesse James, where is his targets? There should be scheming for giving this man the ball, specifically in the red zone. Where is these big targets getting? Where are these plays when you get near the red zone? I feel like they're starting to take plays off when it comes to the running game. Why are not we expanding the running game? We got a fast guy in Ty Johnson. Why is he not giving more positions to go on the outside? We have Agnew. I want to see a little more jet sweeps. I mean, I want to see the plays that you put players in positions to succeed. We got these big guys, and I feel like they need to be utilized what they do well. You can't teach 6'7". Throw this man the ball. That's what he did with the Steelers. Give him the ball in the red zone. Help it out. Give these players perfect chances to make plays with what they got and their skills are at. I do see that's not being utilized in some parts, and it's a bit frustrating. He's obviously done a better job than KFC, but he has work to be done, and he needs to put these players in positions to succeed.
And the truth is, everything you said is factual. Now, 1991 Max Stash is slightly better, because his argument is this. The guy's argument was, if this was the old offensive coordinator, we would be going crazy about what's going on in this game plan. But for me, I think we are critical of him, but I can't be too critical of a guy who's implementing his system in a new team for the first year. These things take time to build. If you look at this team compared from last year to now, we are certainly a better team now than we was last year. Are we having some small things that are messing us up? Absolutely. Can I
go ahead? Inform when I talk about critically, I talk about there's no matter how well you do when you're doing whatever you do, whatever your job it is, what it is, you got to be critical of yourself. No matter what, whether you're new, whether you're old. I've been at my job for 4 years. From day one till now, I'm very critical of myself. And it's imperative if you want to succeed to be critical of what you do to perform perfection. It's always good to be critical, to assume that everything's going to be fine and it's okay. That's not how you deal well. If you listen to Peyton Manning, when he was playing quarterback for the Colts, if a ball hit the ground, he would be furious. And in those games in training camp, They never let the balls hit the ground because he was absolutely critical of himself and the players around him. So when it comes to being critical of Darrell Bevell, yes, he's done things great. Yes, we understand it's a new scheme, but it's always a good thing to be critical. Critically good and not insulting, but doing it the correct way.
Yeah, and you wanna make sure that if you're going to be critical, that you're doing things that are being fair. You can't just be you breaking news. The Lions just traded for Jordan. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Anybody care to fact check that? Because if
right,
that's
that'd
true,
be nice.
if that's true, I would be shocked.
Yeah, that'd be a great acquisition.
Man, stop coming here playing like that, man.
Somebody fact check that right now. I got a baby in one hand and operating everything.
It's not true. I see nothing on my.
Okay, just wanted to put it up there. I mean, but I think that should be the truth behind Bob Quinn. Now, this is the part I've been waiting on all day. What is wrong with the Detroit Lions defense? Is it just me, or do it seem like for all the bend but don't break that they do a whole lot of back breaking at the wrong times? Is it just me? Like, am I the only one that think that there's something wrong with this picture? Like, how does this defense go from doing so many things well the previous year down the stretch, but then we come out in a full staff team and just like that, all of a sudden we just keep on bending. We keep on bending, but we break at the worst times. We break at the worst time. So ask me this question. Ask me this. What is wrong with this defense? I can tell you what's wrong with it from my viewpoint. For me, we're lacking gap assignment. That's the first thing. And the biggest problem is we don't have depth on the defensive line. That is the problem with this defense, ladies and gentlemen. The depth on this defensive line is killing us. Yeah. Now, you may be saying, Luke, why is it the depth that's killing us? Let me explain, okay? They got Snacks Harrison out there running literally 5 to 6 plays back to back. He 350, okay? At 350, I guarantee you he probably can't keep a stroke, let alone that long to be up there that long. It's too long. When you go through and you look at it, we were supposed to have a rotation. The rotation was supposed to be Mike Daniels, A'Shawn Robinson, and Austin Bryant. But what we got, we keep leaving Deshaun Hand. So we keep leaving A'Shawn Robinson, we keep leaving Snacks out there. The whole D line literally is playing extended snaps because we don't have no depth. And then when they take Snacks out, they put in Strong. Strong is not no small guy. So what happens with Strong? Well, he gets gas. He's gassed with A'Shawn. You put Snacks back in, but now you got to take out A'Shawn. Strong is still gassed. Now they just double down on. We need depth at the defensive line position, period.
And Luke, and that you said that, man, that's crazy because that was one of the things that we talked about in the offseason. We talked about the Lions having depth. And I told you, you're going to see the depth when you start seeing guys not playing. That's when you see your depth. And right now we're not seeing it because, for one, we have not had Deshaun Hand all season out there. And like you said, those guys are gassed out there. And they're taking way too many snaps. A'Shawn and Snacks, they're taking way too many snaps. And they're gassed. They're tired. They're tired, so they can't.
And that's the other problem with the linebacking core because now the linebacking core don't know what gap to take because I'm telling you, go back and watch the film, people, and count how many times you saw Snacks Harrison on his back. Just go back and watch. I'm telling you.
Until he said, "I'm falling and I can't get up."
Like roadkill, like roadkill, bro. Like you just drove by.
Snacks said, "I ain't getting up
and saw it."
I ain't gonna lie. You know it's bad when you start seeing their butt cracks, man. When they can't keep them drawers up, they can't keep them trousers up, boy. You know they tired.
Yeah, he's tired, man.
And the bigger part of it for me when I watch this defense is this. Now we lacking depth at the D line. Linebackers don't know what gap to take, right? So now what happens? All the stuff is funneling to the secondary. Secondary can only hold up for so long. But, that's just my take on it. What say you, Mel? What is wrong with this Lions defense?
I mean, you hit on a lot of it, man. Like you said, they're missing a lot of gap assignments. They can't keep asking that much of that secondary, bro, to keep on coming up, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, and 3rd and 6, and thinking we gonna, hold the
Right.
line, but thinking the line gonna get there, and they not. So I'm with you on that defensive line rotation. I'm with you on you can't get these secondary. You can't hold them to account to be holding these wide receivers. The quarterback scrambled one way, he scrambled back the other way. Man, it don't take nothing but one good cut, and this guy back wide open. So even if you got good coverage and you hold him for 2 or 3 seconds, that fourth and fifth second, they make one cut back toward the other side of the field. They wide open if you give them this quarterback time to get around in that pocket.
Yeah,
and it's embarrassing, bro. Like, honestly, like I said, I try to keep a neutral standpoint. I'm trying not to get too low, but it's embarrassing to sit back and see these quarterbacks bop one way, look at the field, bop the other way, look at the other side of the field, scoot over 2 more steps, and they got wide open. It's embarrassing. And my thing is, I don't even want to keep blaming the players, bro. I don't want to keep saying Flowers ain't doing his job. We signed him for $90 million. Daniels ain't on the field. We traded. Like, he injured. We can't keep counting on these players. Like, but when did the coaching, like, y'all got to start doing something different, bro? Like, it's brain reckoning to look at this defense do the same thing over and over and over. Like, I don't never see 6 or 7 guys up on the line real tight, looking like they're gonna blitz and backing off.
Yeah.
6 or 7 guys. You need to start giving these quarterbacks different looks, bro.
Different looks.
And then when you start giving them different looks, at least make them think, make their offensive line think, and then even if you bring in 6 or 7 down and they backing off, well, that one key time where they think you're gonna back off and you blitz, they ain't ready. And I just don't see, like, I'm just a fan, bro. Like, you a coach. You've been doing this for 18 years and day by day, and it's all you live and breathe. If I see you not doing nothing different, why are you not seeing that you ain't doing nothing different and you just gonna keep on going out there and letting somebody do you?
Well, you remember Coach Boone? Coach Boone said, it's like Novocaine. Give it time and it'll always work.
Wow. What point do you get till you start saying to yourself, like, the other team is they got clipboard, they taking notes, they looking at all this, they like, oh shoot, okay. Every time they get in formation, they got 3 linebackers, they got 4 linemen. 4 linemen gonna rush, the 3 linebackers gonna cover. Ain't nobody blitzing, so let's scheme up for this. Buddy tapping the coach like, hey, remember in the first quarter, we ran that same play. They ain't do nothing. They ain't blitz us or nothing. Let's run that play and go deep this time.
Yep. And it's crazy because I know I missed it, but one of the subscribers asked that question, like, don't you think if we blitz more, it helps the D-line? Yes. That's on the coach.
You have to blitz
more. That is on the coach because you got to find a way. You got to find a way to get them off the field. You have to. And if you can get them off the field, it works better. But right now, without having that depth at the D-line, we struggling. That go the problem right there. Snacks has always been a first and second down guy. 2 good ones. Boom. 3rd down, get him out of there. He was supposed to be the guy for first and second. Then they were supposed to put Romeo Core and Kennard at the D ends, or put Hand at the D end with a Core at the other D end, and then they'll move Flowers to the inside. I ain't seen Flowers inside yet. And I believe it was Daniel Griffin who said he took 40% of the snaps last year. He already at 60 this year. They on the field too much.
Hey, sorry, Mike. Yeah, but let me say this real quick. I don't see them doing nothing. The way they scheme, the way Matt Patricia was scheming Trey Flowers, bro, I don't see him doing that. And I see him using him as a traditional big, speedy end, as opposed to all those stunts and stuff they was running in New England. Like, I don't see them using him the same way. So we paid him all this money to bring him over to ask him to do something that he ain't been doing that made him successful. Like, that don't make sense to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
right.
Do some different scheming with him. You know what I mean? To make him look better. Like, that's supposed to be what you're here for, buddy.
Supposed to be. I mean, and Mike, I mean, tell me from your viewpoint, because I study film, clear, but I think having different viewpoints give you different looks. That's why you got different cameras on the field. From your viewpoint, what's wrong with this defense?
What's wrong with this defense? first is we need to get those likes up, folks. Let's get those likes up. Maybe it'll help the defense get a little bit better. But if you get those likes up, folks,
when they about to tell you who the winner is, and then they go to commercial real quick.
Drum roll, please.
Totally different.
I see we have 95 in the chat. Let's get it all the way. Let's get past 100. I'd love for that to happen tonight. It's been a long day for us Lions fans.
You, son. Sorry, you hear my little son up here, my baby sneezing.
Oh, yeah, bless you, man.
He allergic to that BS. He can't. He allergic to the BS, man. But go ahead, Mike.
When I look at this defensive line and what's taking place, there's an old saying in the Army. It's called FUBAR. We all know what that means, but there's a lot of issues going on here, and I think it's a mixture of all sorts of stuff for this to happen. I think with the injuries to Daniels and Hand, it definitely hurts because these people that are on the defensive line are doing more snaps than they should be. I think that also that players are not being schemed in correctly. I feel like they got to switch it up. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is the definition of being a Lions fan. We got to be able to not just have 3 on the D line and never blitz. We got to be able to blitz. We got to let's throw some Davis on the side there. He's not doing too great right now as a linebacker, but he's got speed. Let's mix it up. Let's completely mix it up because right now it's not working. There's no pass rush. Quarterbacks are sitting there. They're sitting there, and little Luke G is getting upset about it. And so,
Absolutely.
As should be.
Yes, and when it comes to this defensive line, again, you do got to look at Patricia Pasqualoni. Again, I'm not sure how much Pasqualoni actually does it. Personnel, I think it's just a mixture of all sorts of stuff. And, it may not completely help to get an individual like a Von Miller or a Chandler Jones, but it would help, in my opinion. And we got to get pass rush. We do. Because everything starts in the inside. No matter what position you think is great when it comes to running back, wide receivers, cornerback, safety, the most important parts is the offensive defensive line. If you can't protect a quarterback, you're screwed. And if you can't stop a running back and get after the quarterback, it's over.
I mean, I think you hit on some very good ones. And to me, it's one of the things that we got to look at. Now, here's my thing. We know what the Lions need. We know what needs to be fixed. But the question now becomes, are we just one player away from being a strong contender again? Are we just one player, whether that's on defense or offense? Are we one player away? What say you, TA?
I say possibly yes. We could be. It's a special player, man, that takes sometimes it's just one player that's a special guy that takes the team to the next level. Like we said before, Khalil Mack was that for the Chicago Bears. Von Miller is that for the Denver Broncos. Aaron Donald is that player for the Rams. It takes a special player, man, that has that dog mentality. You know, guys, I've been talking about the dog mentality for a long, long time, and you gotta have players out there that have that mentality. And right now, we don't have. I mean, when you're looking at the defense, what guy to you stands out and has that dog mentality that's getting the guys fiery on the bench and saying, come on, guys, suck it up. Let's go out here and get this win. What guy do you see doing that the most?
Even if we ain't got that guy, I keep saying to myself, and I'm good friends with Willie Young. I've been knowing him for a while. Even when he got to the Lions, bro, he was just a pass rushing type of dude. He was speedy. Like, we don't even have to have a flashy guy right now.
Right.
Because in my mind, this one I'm thinking Matt Patricia thinking. If we play the right way for 60 minutes, we're gonna win. Okay. If the lineman get a good rush on him, if the safety cover just long enough, if the cornerback cover just long enough, if the linebackers, we can make this quarterback make a mistake. So he playing everything so fine line that nobody out there on the field can really honestly make a mistake. Because just like you said, Luke, he got that bend but don't break mentality, but you can't continually put that much pressure on the players to follow this scheme you got. And I want to hope that the type of coach that's so stuck to your guns that you don't switch it up. You know what I mean? That you so stuck to your philosophy and your scheme that you don't switch it up. Now, I know before he got here and a lot last year, he was known to come out of the halftime, or he a good scheming guy for the next game, but he was known to come out of halftime, readjust, do something different, and that sort of thing. But why are we not? Why don't we have a guy on our roster who can get to this quarterback, even if it's not a flashy guy as Von Miller? Where is our speedy guy? Like, are y'all not thinking about that? Like, were y'all just was that not on y'all radar when y'all was drafting? Were y'all not thinking about getting to the quarterback? Because I mean, I got a lot to say. I got another thing I want to double back on. Real quick.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. That's why you're here.
And it's crazy. Hey, and it's kind of crazy. I want to say this because I seen somebody in the chat. I think it was burner account said we need a leader, and that's true, man. Every team needs a leader out there on the defense. You need a leader out there on the offense. We know the offense normally is the quarterback, but the defense is normally like a linebacker or a defensive end that is causing danger out on the field. But at the same time, man, that's what I truly feel that the Lions need. They need that player that stands out, that's going to get these guys fired up to go out there, even when you're down like 14 points. Hey, guys, suck it up. Let's go out here and make some plays, and let's do what we need to do to get this win on today. Whatever we got to do. If we got to bite, crawl, scratch, hit you over the head with a do to get this win, we going to do it on today. And I think that's what the Lions desperately need, man. We don't have a guy in there that's doing
Flowers
that.
Not that guy. I mean,
No, he's not that guy.
Trey Flowers, he a quiet guy. Jelani Savai looked like a quiet guy. Jared Davis, he looked like a quiet guy. So they went after these different character style football players who they thought would work for their scheme. And that fiery guy, we just don't got that beast, man. We got that beast in Slay. We had it in Diggs.
Yeah.
Where we needed that in that trench, we ain't got it. We got some quiet guys that just come to work and play. So.
I mean, it's also one of those things where you have to look at it and you have to say to yourself, okay, the Lions are in a position to make these changes. They are in a position to change their fortunes. And when you go through and you ask that question about are they one player away from being a strong contender, I mean, let's be honest here. We are way more than one player away from being a strong contender. And
I don't know, Luke. I think for a scheme, I think we there. I think we like one player away, bro.
But what is that one player you think it could be though? For me, I feel like we need at least two guys, and if they're gonna come out, I don't care how it goes, whether it's offense or defense, preferably defense, one offense. But I would really hope we get two on defense, because now with Diggs gone, I hope we can pick up a pass rusher and a safety like Jamal Adams or something like that. But who's that one player that comes in and changes this fortune? Who is it, man? I mean, you said you think so, but who?
Like I said, I don't think it has to be a superstar player. But if like I said with Matt Patricia, if your scheme and your philosophy is you can bring in no-name players and they could just play around your scheme, if they have a special talent and you don't need no superstar, then that's fine. Then get somebody in there who they may not be able to cover well, but they're a pass rush specialist. So on 3rd and 10, you can send him in there and he coming to get him.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna get in there and go get him. Like we don't even have a specialist on this team that gets to the quarterback, and that's what I was trying to compare to what we had when we had Willie Young. That dude was skinny. He was just fast and he can get around the edge. It was like we knew when he came in the game what his job was.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We don't even send hey Mel, we don't even send a safety blitz in from time to time.
Exactly.
That would be nice.
That would be nice. He wasn't even a 3-down player, but like you said, if we could just send somebody in there who feel like this is what I do. We got some guys in this league that they make their money on getting to the quarterback, bro, and they play nickel, safety, linebacker. It don't have to necessarily be a star, but they make their money on that. That's what they do.
Hey, I'm gonna say this, guys, for the record. It's somebody on the Lions that I think that the Lions should have been utilizing in this type of way. Somebody that you can put on the box and you could use his speed. And you know what player I think that they should be using? Miles Killebrew.
Yes.
Miles Killebrew
my
should be that
God.
guy that they got because he got speed. He got the speed because he can play. He can play he can play the DB, but he's not the best at that. But he's the best at tackling guys.
Oh my God.
You have to put your guys in a position to be able to go out and make plays. And if you got a guy like Miles Killebrew going out there and getting to the quarterback and making coming down on the box and going in and making sacks on the quarterback, that may relieve some of the pressure off the other guys. You have to figure out ways how to adjust your defense. And I think if you put Killebrew out there on some packages and put him out there and let him blitz the quarterback, I think he'll be able to get to him.
Mm-hmm. You ain't lying.
Well, I put it this way. When you talk about that, and I Discord always give me motivation, but the question becomes: are the Lions closer to a team that should be 6-0, or are they closer to a team that should be 0-6? What say you, Mike?
Oh, well, they're definitely closer to 6-0 than 0-6. 0-6 would be ridiculously bad. We're talking Miami Dolphins here. We got talent on the roster. We could be a 6-0 if you look at if everything went right. We did not call the timeout when it comes to the Arizona game. If they did not fumble at the goal line when it comes to the Kansas City game, if the referees did not pay off or did not get paid off in the Packers game, and if we did not rub on a bowl or something to get a genie to pop out, I think we're definitely closer to that than 0-6. I mean, 0-6 is fairly bad, but when it comes to the one player or two, I think we're close. We just really need a pass rusher. We just need to rush the passer. If we have had that through these games, just an individual that can just put any sort of pressure on that quarterback, offensive line, imagine how much better the turnovers would be. I think our turnover battle would be higher. I think that the quarterback's been sitting in the back so long and just picking us apart. If they would just had a couple, even 1 second less, that's a big difference in the NFL. And, it's a game of inches, it's a game of seconds. And so far, they've just been sitting back there. This may be the worst I've ever seen quarterbacks sit back there. I've never seen this so bad.
Yeah. Now, listen, Blue Star says, did I just hear a baby? You did. You heard my baby. But he is now asleep. He is now asleep. So, you won't be hearing for a minute. But, yeah, he popped up for that brief moment, like, what's going on? So, but, yeah, I mean, for me, this is how I look at it. This team should be undefeated right now. I mean, if you just go through and you look at it, no way should the Cardinals have been allowed to come back and tie the game and push it to overtime. That shouldn't have happened. That should be a win. No way we should win by 3 against the Chargers. The Eagles game, I mean, listen, everybody had their problems. We have ours. That's a different story. It is what it is. But that game against Kansas City was 2 fumbles away from being a win.
Yeah, and a touchdown that got taken away.
Third down.
Well, the touchdown don't even matter because the reason the touchdown don't matter is because they still could have won, like he said, on a 4th and 8 stop. If you get a stop on 4th and 8, the game is over. So there are these little things that go into it, but nonetheless, we should have had that game won. So no matter how you look at it, I'm going by that. And then when you go to the Green Bay Packers game, a game where he didn't even have his best receiver out there, no way by halftime we should have been up by 21. To zip or 21-3. So we leaving a lot of football on the field. That's right. Against Minnesota. I don't know. I don't know what that was. The offense came alive. When your offense scored 28 points, your defense needs to simply hold them to like 14-21. And we couldn't do it. And I think it was Positively Detroit who pointed it out. We're having problems with consistency and putting the games together in back-to-back games. And that's where we're running into the issues, where we have to be able to get that part of it done. Now, these are the little things that can be fixed,
Yep.
But this is a perfect segue into a very good question. TA, do you believe the Lions can finish the season 9-1 or 8-2 to close out the season?
Oh man, Luke, you making it hard for me, brother. You making it really hard for me. I'm gonna answer this question this way. I'm gonna answer it this way. For the Lions to be able to do that is like pulling off the impossible for us. But I'm not saying that anything is possible, man. Anything is possible in my Kevin Garnett voice. Wow, it's crazy, man. I don't know, Luke. I'm going to have to say no. I don't have enough.
No.
I'm going to have to say no. I don't think that we can run the table that way and go out and win 9-1 or 8-2. I just don't think that we'll be able to do it, man. From the defense not being able to do what it's doing, and the offense not being able to run block, I just don't have enough confidence that we can go and be 9-1 and run the table, or going 8-2 and get into the postseason. I just don't think that we can do it. Even though I would love to do it, I just got to be a realist on this. I don't think that we can, because we don't got what it takes right now. And
but that voice though.
Listen, I can't argue. I mean, he's giving it to us in a way that you can follow. I mean, but what say you, Melvin Drew? Do you think the Lions can finish the season 9-1 or 8-2? Because they're going to have to do that to even have a chance.
I'm gonna say no.
Man, I mean, did you have a little bit more enthusiasm with that? No, you was like, yeah, no. What in the world?
What I think is, I was looking at the schedule at the same time. What I see on this schedule is 6 wins, and they got to beat Green Bay to finish the season 9-6-1.
Ooh,
and I see 6 wins. I'm looking at. Let me tell you what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a win against the Giants if we can stop Barkley. I'm looking at a win against Oakland. I'm looking at a win against Chicago. I'm looking at 3 straight wins before we see Dallas. Hopefully by Dallas, if we gain enough momentum, we could possibly win that game. The Redskins, I think, is a win. That's 4. The Bears, next time we see them, I think we might lose. So that's a split with the Bears. 5. Let me see. We got the Vikings after that. See what just happened. Ain't no telling what's going to happen down the line. We might lose that game. That's 5. We have 5. We got Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Tampa Bay, they play hard. They play tough. Hopefully Winston have a 7 interception game. And he had one of those games. That could be 6. And the Broncos and the Packers is how we end the season. And I'm expecting a split one way or the other. Maybe we beat the Packers and lose to the Broncos. Maybe we beat the Broncos and lose to the Packers. That'll give us 7 wins. And that'll put us at 9-6-1.
Ah, man, that's not enough. That's not going to be enough to get to the playoffs. Mike, what say you, Mike? I mean, do you think that the Lions can finish strong 9-1, 8-2? Because that's what it's going to take.
They could. Do I think it's going to happen? No. I think we win against the Giants. We pull out a win in Oakland, even though I think that's going to be tougher than what people expect. Yeah. I could see us dropping an L at Chicago, but again, their offense is hurting as well. So possibly we could squeak out a win there. Dallas at Detroit. That will be a tough game, but it's at Detroit. I think we can win. The Washington Redskins, that's fairly easy. Chicago at Detroit on Thanksgiving. That's going to be a tough game, but again, it's Thanksgiving at Detroit. Detroit at Minnesota. That will be tough. Tampa Bay at Lions, we can pull the win. Detroit at Denver, we can definitely pull the win out. They just traded Sanders and their team's a mess. And then Green Bay at Detroit Lions, there's a great chance Green Bay's already locked for the playoffs. So they may not even play in Aaron Rodgers. So it's possible. I can see us going 8-2 or a 7-3. To go 9-1, that's fairly difficult.
But what you think that Green Bay gonna do when they see that they can put us out of the wild card race for that last game? You think they put their season on the line just for that one game, or
they're gonna think, well, we already got the playoffs and it's the Lions. So who do you want to face when it comes to a wild card? And I think they would rather face them because if you look at the NFC is stacked. You got the Seattle Seahawks who just got Diggs, and they're a good team. The San Francisco 49ers, who are 6-0.
Undefeated.
New Orleans Saints, yep, they are undefeated. New Orleans Saints. The Panthers, who is doing well with their new quarterback under center. There's a lot of good teams in the NFL. Obviously, the NFC North, you got the Minnesota Vikings. They're no slouch. We just found out. There's a lot of good teams.
Well, I mean, let's be honest about it though. Let's put it in a different perspective, okay?
I wouldn't be honest,
is it? No, I know you will. I'm just saying, but like, if we look at it from the standpoint of this, if we look at it from this standpoint, where you ask yourself this question, and the question is really simple and it's easy, is we know can they? That's one thing, but the real question should have been will they? And shout out to the people in the chat for saying that, because y'all make a very good point. It's will they? Will they get that record? And even I am going to sound crazy when I say this, but I think they will. I think they will get 8-2. I think that if they the only thing that can derail that is the head coach and injuries. And I think that if they find a way to just get somewhat of a running game, if that means you go out and you get Dumbo and he runs the ball better than anybody else, that's all we matter. But we need a running back who can kind of create his own run and kind of have the vision to see what's going on so people can actually have a chance to absorb this offense. Right now, we're going back to it just being all on Stafford's shoulder, and we can't get to that because that's where the problems came in the first place. So for me, I think it's a good chance we can get in that mindset. I think we can pull ourselves together to get it done. And on top of that, I think that if the Lions are truthful with themselves, they will start to realize that they better start making some phone calls to improve the D-line depth, because right now we suffering.
But touch on that as well.
I wouldn't even mind Geno Atkins.
Dude, touch
They better be calling CJ back.
Right.
Put him on deck at least. If they don't get Kenyon Drake, you need somebody to run the ball.
Well,
first, we can't put it all on Ty and McGinn.
All right, Mike. What's up, Mike?
I was trying to say, even if we went to 8-2, that would put us at 10 wins and 5 losses and 1 tie. I don't know if that's going to be enough to even get a wild card this year. The NFC is really stacked. They got some good teams.
Yeah.
Sadly, a 10-win team may not make the playoffs. It really may not make the playoffs.
One of those years, Mike. You're right. It's one of those years.
It's one of those.
A lot of teams are good.
Yeah. You look at the NFC West and you look at the NFC North. You look at the Vikings.
It's stacked.
I was telling Luke. So you saying we're gonna have to beat the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Beat the Vikings.
I believe we will. I believe we will beat
the Vikings in Minnesota.
Well, we don't have to listen. We don't have to necessarily beat the Vikings to get to 8-2. We still got a home game against the Packers week 17.
Yeah, I'm trying to count that as far as, like you said, like Mike said, if they got it locked up, that's gonna be a gimme game. And the other important games I'm seeing is it got to be the Cowboys game, the Vikings game. Either we sweep the Bears and we beat everybody else like the Giants, the Raiders, and the Broncos.
I feel you. Now, D-Town says, what happened to in Quinn we trust? What a joke. I still trust in Bob Quinn. I would much rather have Bob Quinn than some of the other people. I ain't even gonna play with you. I still trust in Bob Quinn. However, I am entitled to be ticked off when Bob Quinn do something that I can't even wrap my head around.
So we better be able to critique the team, man.
Man, we gotta be able to do that, man.
Man. In God I trust, but if an asteroid falls on me, I'm gonna be a little upset about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's it's just one of them things. Now, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we will take questions from you. I want to get some questions from you guys in the chat. You can ask us whatever you want. We'll answer it. You can ask me. You can ask Mike or Mike. You can ask TA. You can ask Melvin Drew. And if you want to be on the roundtable, all you simply got to do is hit up one of us, any member of the DSA, and let them know, and we will get you on the show. So just want to give you that. That note. Also, tomorrow is the opening day for Detroit Pistons, right?
Opening night.
First game of the season. Yeah,
First game of the
NBA
season.
Yeah,
And
NBA
I'm
just
pretty
started
sure,
tonight.
and I'm pretty sure that Detroit Drew is going to go live for that. So you want to check that out for the basketball fans.
So make sure you subscribe to Detroit Drew.
So I mean, if they gather their questions, man, I'm gonna move to this one right here. It's the problem with the Lions right now, really the scheme, coaching, or player execution. What is it?
Let me go. I'm going
you
to say,
got it, TA.
Okay. The problem with the Detroit Lions is execution. We're not executing on the offensive side of the ball, and we're not executing on the defense. And what I mean by that is simply this. We're not able to do what we thought we was going to set out to do. A lot of us talked about the run game and how improved the run game was going to be. And yeah, we're going to look nice. But now that you're really seeing this thing come to fruition, man, we're not looking like how we should be looking out there right now. The offensive linemen, they're doing a great job with the pass protection, but why aren't they opening up lanes for these running backs to be able to run through? And that's something that we're still dealing with. And I think that it's time to make a difference, man, with this offensive line. If the guys aren't out there opening up lanes, get somebody in there that will. If these guys can't do it, get somebody else in there that can open up these lanes. We need to be able to run the ball. The system that we brought in was to be able to run Kerryon Johnson, be able to run guys like Ty Johnson, and when we had CJ Anderson, to be able to run these type of guys, and we're not able to execute on that side of the ball, and it's very frustrating. If you're a Detroit Lion fan, it's very frustrating to not be able to rip off runs for 30 yards or 40 yards. We have not done that this season that much. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you're not getting any pressure on the quarterback. You're not even smelling the breath of the quarterback. Nobody has smelled the breath of these quarterbacks to let us know if their breath stink or not. They haven't done that. And we need that. You know what I mean?
TA, I just brushed my teeth while you talk.
I know, right? Got me from that. I did a breath check and everything.
So,
bro.
You might have to do the breath. You might have to do the right. You might have to do the breath test on today because none of these guys are smelling the breaths of the quarterbacks, and I hate it. And they stinking up the place and they stinking up the joint, and I don't like it.
Well, listen. Our first question has come up, and I'll talk this to you, Mike. It says, if you got to make a trade right now, who do you get?
It rhymes with Pond Pillar. That would be Von Miller. That is the guy who I would target if I could get him. I'm not sure if they'll trade him, but again, the Denver Broncos are in a world of hurt. So get rid of your player. Bring him to us. Then we can rush the passer. He would fit well with our scheme, how we utilize linebackers. Let's get it done. Bring VM over here so we can take down some quarterbacks.
All right. D-Town says, besides Kenny Galladay, he hasn't drafted a number one. Okay, all right. D-Town is upset, and I'm not mad at him because I think his frustration, his anger are warranted, especially after what TA just said, and it makes it hard. All does Diggs getting traded, does that mean that the bigger trade is going to happen? Melvin, start this off. I mean, with Diggs getting traded, does that mean that we got a bigger trade coming?
I think from history, from what Bob Quinn does, is that he's doing the Patriot way. He's stacking up these draft picks, and he's trying to set up either a trade during the season, or he's trying to set up next season to make sure that he get enough draft picks, enough draft capital, so he can start bumping himself up to get this roster better. As far as making an impact trade, was that the move that they made with getting rid of Diggs? I'm just not sure, because I'm not sure if we can go out and get a Von Miller, because we're gonna have to give up some assets that I don't think Bob Quinn, that's in his train of thought to play that card. You know what I mean? I don't think he go out and give second and third round picks up for a player in the position we in, unless we were 5-2 or 6-1 or something like that. So I really don't see.
I can tell you this much. I absolutely think that the trade is for a bigger move, because I don't see the team taking the cap hit. Even though they saved some money, they took a pretty healthy cap hit to get that trade done. I don't see them doing that in an attempt to free up money if they're not going for a bigger trade. It's something that's going to come down the pipeline. And I don't know what, but it's coming down the pipeline. What say you, Mike?
And yeah, I'm not sure what type of big trade, if they could get even a Von Miller or Chandler Jones. I'm just hoping they can. I think that's what's on their mind. But I do know that there is a very, very good chance that a trade's on the pipeline right now when it comes to the running back position. I can't confirm it 100%, but I have a friend that is actually who is in the facility there, and I do not talk to this guy much. I don't like to berate him, but after the Diggs trade, I said, man, I got to know what the hell is going on because I was very mad. And what he told me is the Lions are targeting Kenyon Drake, the running back, and he's doing it. He said very, very shortly he should be a Detroit Lion. So take that with what it is. That's just what he told me. And every time he's told me something, it's always come true. But you never know. But that's just what they said. But to me, that's not a big trade. That's nothing significant. I think getting a pass rusher is very vital for this team.
I want to say something.
Go ahead.
Mark. Hey, you remember, guys, when we were talking about the pickups of Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith? Guess what? What I want to say about these two guys, we kind of like dogged them a little bit, and these guys is balling, low key balling.
Oh man! Hold on! Wait!
Hold on!
No, wait a minute! Hold on! Let me briefly interrupt you. The idea of this term balling is this: you have to be able to go through and you look at who they played. Who did they play?
It don't matter.
That was really
they in the NFL. It don't matter.
It do matter. It has to matter because if you're going to tell me that they're balling, then you're going to have to listen. Let's be honest. If the Lions, okay, let me go back.
They playing, man. They doing their thing though. How many times did Preston Smith sack Stafford? How many times did he get to Stafford?
Yeah.
The only time he got to Stafford is when they had 13 men on the field.
I thought he got to him at least 2 or 3 times that night, Luke.
Man, no, Darius Smith got to him. I believe.
I thought it was Preston Smith.
But the one time, man, Preston Smith got home because it was 13 dudes on the field, and then the Darius Smith got a sack after Stafford stepped up into the pocket and got snatched from behind. But that's not the point I'm trying to make here. The point I'm trying to make here is this.
Go ahead.
The point I'm trying to make here is this: if they're going to go out and you're going to say that they're balling, all I'm trying to show you is if the Lions make the play that they were supposed to make and not drop passes, that pass rush was null and void. But we didn't do our job. The team that they have played have come up short, and it had nothing to do with what those two guys did. The media is pushing this idea that these two are they just killing them. They shutting them down. But I'm not subscribing to that because watch what's going to happen. When they play a real team, they're going to suffer. But we got to switch this thing, go to the next question. We got to switch it over.
I'm sniffing a marker.
Is that his take on having impact players? That what you were saying, TA? Because that's what I thought you was going with.
Yeah, basically what I was saying is having guys that's coming in and making some plays. I'm saying like we paid out a lot of money to trade Flowers, and
that scheme, and it's the fact that they play some weaker teams on schedule. It just is what it is. And
I know.
And I mean,
let me hold on, Luke. Let me say my take, man.
Tavai had how many sacks?
I mean, I want to hear.
Go ahead.
I think he.
What I'm alluding to is simply this. You know what I'm saying? Those guys are playing decent. I think Preston Smith has at least about 6 sacks. And what I'm saying is these guys in the scheme that they're in, they're being effective and they're making plays out there. And we got guys that are not making the plays. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that we should have picked those guys up, but what I'm saying, we did spend a lot of money on Trey Flowers. And I just think right now we're not getting our money's worth out of him. That's a lot of money to give to a defensive end that does not get any sacks or barely can get to the quarterback. And that's just fact.
Trey Flowers is who Trey Flowers has always been. Trey Flowers has always been the same dude. There is nothing different about Trey Flowers' game on the Lions versus the New England Patriots, other than we're not utilizing him the same way that New England did. That's it. But I get your point. I just respectfully disagree with it. I just think
that's okay. That's okay.
I just think that,
agree with him, though,
and I disagree with you.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, man. I just think when you look at it, let's watch. And I'm telling you, it's kind of good that you said this because in the coming weeks, what's going to happen is you're not going to hear these guys' name and you're going to be like, oh man, I thought these guys. I'm telling you what it is.
I'm going to get into a tougher schedule. I'm going to be looking out for them. I'm not going to be a chump. I'm going to go do my research and I'm going to be looking out for Preston.
But the thing that I was trying to do, though, the thing I was trying to do, TA, is this. I want to stick it to the Lions. I want to keep it to the Lions. This is the Lions roundtable. I know that they're in the division. I don't want to put that much focus on it. And I had this question up for a while, so I was trying to get this thing moving a little bit further so we can get to everybody's questions, man. That's all I was trying to do. But like Broken Lion answers the question, he says, "What up, guys? Do you guys see this game as a sign that Stafford and the offense is going to start getting hot?" I'll take that question. I do not, because it's the Giants. I'm not going to get excited for a game that I believe that they should beat the team out. If they lose to this team, then yes, it's a dumpster fire, burn it up, torch it down. You can't lose to the Giants, but the Giants are another team that's suffering, and I'm not going to get hyped if they come out and burn up the Giants. That's not a suffice win for me. That's not going to fly with me. I'm not going to go with that. It's not. Yeah, it's not like you went out there and burned up a playoff team. Riff Distortion says, "What about Terrell Suggs for a 7th?" Yeah. I mean,
you didn't read what he said about Pete Smith and Zadarius Smith either. He said Pete Smith 7 sacks, Zadarius Smith 6.5 sacks. Flowers has 1 sack, and he played up.
Touchdown.
Oh my God! Listen. We have moved on from that for a reason.
No. Let me
you got to address it though. I want to hear Melvin Drew,
because I wanted to get in and chime in because this was my take on it. Yeah, this was my thoughts when you said that.
Go ahead.
And it ties in the same thing Mike's saying, the same thing we all been saying. Green Bay got some impact players. We need impact players. That's how you tied into the Lions.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought he was going with it.
Yeah.
We need impact players, whether it's Von Miller, as Mike suggested, or somebody that's gonna come in there, and we need to get Bob Quinn to get this roster. Somebody that's gonna come in and be aggressive, bro. Somebody that's gonna come in and change up what we've been seeing this first 6 or 7 weeks out of the Lions, which is stand pat, don't bend, don't break, this, that, and the other. No, we need to get some dogs up in there, or a dog that's going to come in there and make the difference. Because, like I said earlier, I do think we probably one player away. And in order for us to save this season, we had to change up what the eyeball's been telling us. The eyeball been telling everybody that's a Lions fan that we can't get to the quarterback. Every analysis I listen to from anybody that's not even a Lions fan, they're saying the same thing. The Lions giving these quarterbacks too much time. So that's why I was saying I thought that he wasn't being a fan of the Packers, but what he was saying was that we need to get.
I didn't think
that's what I was alluding to. That's what I was trying to allude to.
I didn't think he was being a fan of the Packers, but the segment right now that we are on is the chat questions, and that wasn't a chat question.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying, though, right? We need to get.
I'm with you. But we on the chat questions. That's why I want
to food for thought, Luke.
That was a little bit. I had to get that out, man. Because we
Motor City Thanos says, Luke, what's your Twitter? Is at Phil G's. Literally at Phil G's. And it's also linked in the description of this video, so you can just click on it and find it as that way. If Lions wanted to open up the cap space, they should have traded Mr. 9 million Trey Flowers. Nope, the cap hit would have been too big.
It's gonna be huge.
You cannot get them by a contract that big and then cut them or trade them. It would literally destroy your cap. And I don't think that would be a smart move by the Detroit Lions. I know that y'all are exhausted with him, but Trey Flowers is who he has always been, and it's one of the reasons why we did not want Trey Flowers. At least I didn't want him. I knew we were going to end up paying him $18 million, and I knew that he wasn't no pass rush specialist. He was a guy who supposed to get pressure, and he was supposed to be a guy. What's the word I want to use to help in the run? And so far, he's not doing either of those things, and so that's where we got to look at. Vast Darwin is in the building. He says, just getting off work, finishing up the night. I definitely have been listening later. What up, DSA and DSA family? What's going on? Let me see. It says, what we need is what Snacks was for us last season, midway acquisitions that changed the outlook of the defense. Absolutely. Yeah, Again, this is your time to ask any questions. Do apologize that we got off subject for a minute, because that happens when you're in the midst of a good conversation. But I wanted to make sure we stay on track. So any questions that you guys have, you can have it. We will answer those questions as it stands put and stands packed. So make sure that you get those questions in. Mike, let me ask you this though. When we looking at this team and the different acquisitions that they're going to have an opportunity to do. what is that one acquisition that you look up and you say, I don't care how it happens, it needs to happen?
Well, I always care about how it happens. You can't give up too much capital. You can't be dropping 2 first-round picks on a player. I think that would frustrate me. But for the right price, it's Von Miller. I think he would be a perfect fit for us. We would have that ability to rush the passer. He fits well with his defense. He can drop back, linebacker, rush the passer, and he is a beast on the field and off the field. And I think he would do really, really well. I think he would fit well for what we're doing for this defense. I think he would definitely help out the secondary and the linebacker core. It would make this defense get better. It would definitely be better with him on this team, but I'm not going to drop a ton of draft capital just for that.
Now, this right here, D-Town says we should have kept Ziggy instead of Trey Flowers. Now, I'm going to turn this into a question. D-Town, I hear you. I totally get it. But Ziggy just did not play a lot of games for us, and he didn't do any better than what Trey Flowers did. And just go over to the Seattle Seahawks, you know, he still hurt a whole lot and not doing any better. But what say you, Melvin? I mean, should we have kept Ziggy instead of Trey Flowers? Because we're going to have to pay one of them.
No, man, I don't want no injury prone dude like Ziggy, man. I don't need you to be great for 5 games and then I can't use you for 11. You know what I mean? Right. Seattle, man. I happened to watch a game one time with my girl. She a Seattle fan. She Abby Diggs over there and everything else. But I don't want Ziggy. No, I take Trey Flowers any day. And I think it's gonna come to my final point with I get my final point in. But it's a matter of them building this roster up. And maybe Trey Flowers is not the sack specialist or the guy that we think that $90 million is going to get us. Or maybe he fits into the grand scheme of things on what we see in the long run. I know we're in the season and it's hard to think about the future, but maybe it's Trey Flowers fits us for now. And when we get the pieces that we need, say like Mike said, like a Von Miller or like TA was saying, like with an impact player, it's going to all come together a little bit more. I think we got the pot cooking, we stirring it up, but the dinner ain't done yet. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, Catherine Edmonds says, hey, Luke, would you go after Melvin Gordon? Absolutely not. Melvin Gordon is 28 years old. He's looking for a big-time contract and has had, one good season or 1.5 good seasons. The San Diego Chargers stuck by him through all of the bad that he was doing early on in his career, and they finally got dividends paid out. And he went full like a-hole and said, hey, I want a big contract. I'm sitting out. Well, what they do? Still has success running the ball without him. So the question now becomes, why would I bring a 28-year-old guy here that I got to pay a big contract to that's going to turn right back around and do what? Not create his own run because we don't have run blocking. Can't do it, won't do it, not going to work.
That was a season, bro.
Kevin Haynes says, who you liking for the draft? I am still doing research, and I will complete the investigation once I figure out our closest draft position. But right now, I have the Lions' first pick based on where I predict them to pick between 17 and 24. I have them taking, surprisingly, a DB. And I've said this on many different videos. I said, but pass rusher and DB are the 2 targets that I see them going after with that first pick. So just me. TA, it says, why do you think we would possibly be in the running to? Oh, you know what? This is more for Mike because Mike.
Mike.
He says, why do you think we would possibly be in the running to get Von Miller?
To get a trade, you got to have 2 parties willing to make a trade. And if you look at the Denver Broncos, they're going nowhere quick. They just sold Emmanuel Sanders to the 49ers. They have their quarterback, Joe Flacco, who's doing nothing for that team. That team is looking to be in rebuild mode. So what do you do when you go into rebuild mode? You go ahead and pick up draft picks. Why are you going to have a guy, Von Miller, at the, he's a little older, but he's not going to be part of the rebuild mode. It's going to take a couple years to rebuild that team. So the best thing to do when you're in that position is to sell some of your assets. He's an asset. And for us as Lions, what is something that we need most? It's pass rusher. So if we can get that pass rusher, it can really complement the defense. And I think it would be a well-oiled machine from that point. Not perfect, but it would definitely be much better. So I think the 2 parties would be a perfect fit. Plus, he's in the AFC. When you trade players like that, you want to throw them to the opposite division, the NFC. Perfect match, in my opinion.
Okay. Daniel Griff says, here's a question. Why haven't we had a pass rush? TA, how you answer that one?
Why haven't we had a pass rush? It's simply put, man. I think that it got something to do with the scheme, but I definitely think that it has to do with guys not being able to rotate like we thought they were. You got to think about it. You haven't had Deshaun Hand all season long. Hopefully he'll be able to come back in this Giants game. We still don't know. Every time they tell us that he's coming back, we don't get him. But I just think that we're not effective enough, and guys are not using some of it is guys are not using different moves to be able to get in. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to use different techniques to be able to get to the quarterback, and I think that has something to do with it. As far as us not blitzing as well, we're not sending safeties, we're not sending corner blitzes in, we're not doing any of those things. And when you're not mixing it up and making adjustments, you're not going to get any pressure. All you're doing is sending 3 guys up, and sometimes those guys can barely get 2 or 3 steps, and that's it. Because the lineman is making sure that they're not getting to the opposing quarterback. So I think that has a vital role to do with it. But I definitely think because the guys are tired and they're not being rotated in and out like we thought they would, and frankly, man, they gassed out there, man. So they can't get to the quarterback like we thought that they would be able to.
Pick Six Sports says, TA, what is our future at running back now that Kerryon Johnson is down?
Wow, that is a nice question. Pick Six Sports. Man, basically, it's like this. Ty Johnson should have been getting way more carries than what he was. Once the Detroit Lions decided to part ways with CJ Anderson, you have to implement Ty Johnson into the system. Now, if Ty Johnson was already getting 10 to 12 carries, or anywhere between 8 to 12 carries a game, he would have already been familiar with the offense more, and he would have been able to just move right into the role when Kerryon Johnson has this knee injury. But now that Kerryon Johnson is going to be out, now you're going to have to find ways of bringing another running back in that is more skilled so far than Ty Johnson, because he has not been getting those opportunities. But what I think that the Detroit Lions need to do is they're definitely going to have to draft a running back in this year's draft, and I would say definitely take a look at possibly getting Kareem Hunt. Now, I'm not saying go and trade for him this year. What I'm saying is Kareem Hunt only signed a 1-year deal to be with the Cleveland Browns, and that's a great opportunity to grab an elite running back. And I definitely think that he would want to be a starter again in the NFL, and I would grab Kareem Hunt.
I like that.
Bruce Betterly, shout out to Bruce Betterly, man. He's been rocking in the building. Appreciate it. He went and got him some scotch. He says Eckler. No, Bruce, we won't be able to get Eckler because they are going to let Melvin Gordon walk in this offseason, and they're going to keep Eckler. And we can't get Mack because the Colts are loving his abilities right now. They're not going to move on from it. Mars is landing. This one will go to you, Melvin Drew. He says, what about Julian Okoye in the draft? That's the outside linebacker / DN and the little brother of Romeo Okoye, who plays for Notre Dame.
Listen, it could be Julian Okoye, or it could be the next coming to doggone Jesus. We need to get somebody that's gonna pass rush. So, I don't know who they gonna get, but they need to go get somebody that's gonna get to the pass, or they need to go young. Don't go try to go get nobody don't go try to get no veteran in the offseason. I do think they should go get somebody right now if they want to say this season. But as far as the draft go, they need to go get somebody in the first round. You find a lot of pass rushers in the first round. That whole round is stocked and loaded with, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, pass rushers. So go in the first round, go ahead and get you a pass rusher and get that out of the way. Address that concern now and then address it again in the draft. You know what I mean? And go get Von Miller or something. I mean, he's 30. Terrell Suggs 37. I mean, go get Von Miller. He got years on his. He got years left.
How does Chandler Jones?
Okay. Now, Truth Teller 2011 says, do you guys think that the loss of Deshaun Hand has impacted Snacks more than any other player? I absolutely think it does, because here's the two things that it do. It allows him to take a breather. That's one. And two, it allows for them to put their focus on somebody else. And so that is definitely hurting them. Mike, what say you? Do you believe that the loss of Deshaun Hand has impacted Snacks more than any other player?
Absolutely. He's a young guy. He's fast. He's strong. What helps out an older defensive tackle to have one next to you that's young, fast, strong, and have the ability to go ahead and change him out. Last year, Snacks Harrison was rocking 60% of defensive snaps. He is down to 40 right now. He's a big man. You got to give big men rest, and when they're on the field and they're getting double teamed a lot, in which Snacks Harrison is, it's harder for him to make a move. I think if you get Hand in there, it will definitely help out. Maybe Snacks will get more one-on-one instead of two-on-one.
Now, D-Town says, how can we trust Quinn in another draft? Because he's had more hits than miss. His draft picks have been more successful than any other GM we've ever had, and not even compare him to any other GM. They have just been more hits than miss. And that's why you can trust him with another draft. The first draft that he had, he drafted for a system, and he said it. Listen, I was asked to do something that I'm not comfortable doing, is draft for a system that I'm not familiar with, which was Caldwell. Now he was asked to do for something that he's familiar with, and it showed that he's got more hits. This team record may not show it, but they are certainly a better team than they were last year. It's just that the record doesn't show it. What running back should we go after? I'll get this one to you, Melvin.
As far as the season go, like right now,
any running back. Is there any running back we should go after? I personally think the running back we should go after is a free agent, but that's just me.
Since we lost Kerryon, I would say when Michael Wright put that Kenyon Drake on the table, immediately I started thinking him and Kerryon game is super similar. He a good receiving running back, excellent receiving running back, and he hadn't got a chance to show his abilities in the run game because Miami all the way down. And last year when he did, finally, in the mix of him and Gore playing with each other, Kenyon Drake showed flashes of showing some good running back skills. I think because they got some younger guys in there now that he ain't getting this opportunity again. But at this point in the season, if we gonna need to pair somebody up with JD and Ty, go get Kenyon. He no different than Kerryon, and I think he got better receiving ability, which fits a little bit better into a Bevell system. So I would definitely think that they're going to get Drake. I think that is going to happen because he fits Bevell's system, and Bevell got any say-so in that. And the way he liked J.D. McKissick, he going to love Kenyon Drake. So let's go do that. If we just use him for the rest of the season, dump him off and cut him or whatever they're going to do.
All right, now Adam, who told me to call him the better Adam, he says, "What running back would you guys like? Royce Freeman, Rashard Penny, or Kenyon Drake? If you're asking me to do a absolute pick out of those three, I personally would have to go with Royce Freeman. However, I think that we'll be okay if we went and got Alex Collins out of free agency. So I think he'll be just as fine. But if I had to go out of those three, I like Royce Freeman. I really don't want to trade any significant picks for a player, especially if you tell me I'm getting up a fifth for him, maybe. But I don't think so. And I know Catherine Edmond says, what about AP? I would love him if he's worth a 7th round draft pick. But, Mike, what say you? Out of those three, who are you taking?
I'll do option 4, and that'd be Royce to 5'9". I think you would.
You silly.
I'd actually do Joe Mixon. I think that would be cool. But look, I'm pretty sure we're getting Kenyon Drake. I could wish for many other people, but in all reality, he definitely looks like he's going to be a Lion soon. My guy that tells me this has been right every single time. I'm going to assume he's going to be right again, and hopefully it's not going to be a lot we have to give up. But, Miami Dolphins, they're selling right now, so maybe we can get them on a decent price. and have him and Ty Johnson finally getting those carries. I do want to see Ty Johnson a lot. Whoever we get, I want to see Ty Johnson on the field. He has game-breaking speed, and if he gets in the open field, good luck.
I can believe it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'll make sure I go through. I'm trying to hit on everybody's question, people. Now, D-Town says Mayhew was better than Quinn, Luke. Okay.
Ooh, question.
Okay, look.
I didn't like. I mean, most of Mayhew guys are out the league, but I guess I can't argue with your view on that. I would love to know why you feel that. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit and put a post in here explaining why you think he's better? I would definitely love to see that. I think that would be kind of cool.
Where that other question go? Such and such.
You know, I think that'd have been kind of cool. So we have a question from Bruce Betterly who says, what do you guys think about running back Mark Thompson? I think we should stay away from him, personally. Again, he's got a little wiggle, but what you saw in preseason was a ruse, okay? There are a lot of teams who are suffering at the running back position, and he's still there for a reason. So, you know, it's just one of the things you got to look at and ask yourself, what do you really want to deal with? So I'm, you know, he's not on my radar. TA, what are your thoughts about it? I mean,
about who?
Mark Thompson.
Nah, move on. Nah, not Mark Thompson. We need a guy that can hit. We need a guy that can do some things. Like you said, a guy that can create in the backfield and not just a power back, but a guy that can be elusive in the open field. We need one of those type of guys.
Okay, so D-Town did respond. He said the best players on our teams are still Mayhew guys.
Okay, we have to research that.
Who are those players? Are you talking about Stafford? Because I think Stafford predates Martin Mayhew.
Negative. That was his first draft pick.
Martin Mayhew's first draft pick?
Yes.
With who?
Stafford?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Well, then,
Yeah, 09, yeah. What was that, 09?
Was Mayhew that? Was he here that long for real?
Yeah, right after
Yes, sir.
on 16.
Yeah.
Lord,
Stafford
Stafford been here for 11 years.
Man, listen. It's been that long. Okay, all right. Well, he got a good point there. Stafford and who else?
Yeah, I would disagree with that because we also got Louis Delmas, we also got Pettigrew, Eric Ebron. We can look at a lot of the drafts. Tomlinson, that was a really good one. I think the most important part when it comes to a general manager is draft. That's how you're going to win in this league.
Yeah,
I think Mayhew did well with free agents, though. I must say he did really well picking up free agents, but his draft was not as good as what we have right now.
Mars' Landon want to know, should we trade for an old lineman? Depending on who you telling me the old lineman is. If the old lineman is Trent Williams, no.
Yes.
No. Why?
I don't know. the name sounds cool.
I mean, he always hurt. And he wants a big contract. Who finna pay a guy who always hurt that want a big contract?
So what you saying, Luke? He got bad ankles?
I mean,
He's still sitting out.
man, he got a lot going on.
He's still sitting out.
D-Town said he also drafted Slay. Okay.
That was a good pick. Absolutely. Yeah.
The general review says Stafford and Slay are the only remaining from that old regiment. Oh, and man, please don't bring up. I don't even understand how this dude keep a job. The long snapper, but I guess it's important, so I'm not gonna knock it. This question is for Micro Mike. It says, "What about Micro Mike for running back? He is fast. I think he's perfect, man. Not only is he going to run the ball, he's not going to fumble. He's going to spit bars as he run past people, and he's going to moonwalk into the end zone and do the Dougie. So I'm all for it. I think it's a great move, actually.
And I tell you what, man, I'd be fired up. I'd be going crazy on these teams for failing, man. I'd be very vocal leader.
All right. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we have been on for 2 hours. I'm going to give everybody a chance to do their final thoughts. Please, if you exit the show, make sure you hit that like button on your way out and spread the word that DSA do this on every Tuesday and Thursday. We appreciate all the support that you had. We had well over 100 people in the chat, and that's awesome. That's only because you guys come and show support, and we appreciate that. We'll start this off a little bit different because I want to make sure that I kind of give my man Melvin Drew his moment to tell his truth. TA of Noble Sports Entertainment, man, final thoughts.
Man, what a great show on tonight, people. I'm glad to be back. Haven't been back with my boys in a minute because I've been taking care of family business out there with my boys. My boys out there playing football, and definitely, man, I had to support my children. But definitely, man, we like to welcome and thank Melvin Drew for being on the show with us. He's always
man.
welcome.
He got to come back.
He's always welcome. The door is always open for him to come back on the show, and we appreciate everybody that support the DSA. And like we said, guys, you are the DSA. It's not just us. You guys are the DSA because you guys make this thing happen. Without you guys, we couldn't do what we do. So make sure you tell a friend that DSA is here. And definitely, guys, make sure you subscribe to each and every member. And hopefully one day Melvin Drew will start a channel too.
Yeah. I hope so, man.
All right, and next up we have Mr. Micro Mike, man. What do you have for the people on the final thoughts, man? Want to know, how you feeling, man?
Hey, like I always say, it's very humbling that you guys take your time to listen to us talk Detroit Lions. I know it's been a rough last couple of weeks, a really rough day today, but let's not get carried away. We never know what's going down the road in the pipeline when it comes to Bob Quinn. Let's wait till the trade deadline's over. If nothing happens, then I'm definitely going to put some KY jelly into my boot, and I'm going to be taking a trip to meet Mr. Bob Quinn.
Mike.
But other than that, man, I love this stuff. I love talking Detroit Lions. Truly appreciate it. Melvin Drew did a fantastic job. Thank you for joining the show. Anyone out there, if you want to join in, Abdul, Terrell, whoever, Shannon K, that would be great, man. Just hit one of us up and we'll get it done. With that said, folks, adios.
All right, and last but certainly not least is our guest, our subscriber who came on, who hit me up. Listen, believe it or not, he has been behind the scenes sending messages, and he comes in this chat, checking everybody. Really, I mean,
checking everybody.
Yeah, he has never held any punches. But Melvin Drew, man, final thoughts.
I don't know, man. I'm glad y'all got me on the show finally, man. I appreciate all the good words from TA and Mike and Luke. And I have been behind the scenes, man. And I do like commenting in the box because I'm just as passionate as anybody else is about it. And I really didn't know how y'all thought about me, man. I really didn't at first. I was just commenting because I had some passion about football. And I ain't got a lot of Lions fans in Atlanta to chat with about it. And all my homeboys in Detroit, they so far gone. They don't care no more. They so mad.
Yeah.
They laugh at me.
I can see that.
But definitely, I appreciate coming on the show, man. And I just want to tell everybody out there, hang in there, man. The season not over, and trust in the system. We even if it don't happen this year, they're building pieces, and we expect everything to get better. But definitely, man, I wish I could start my own show, man. I'm inspired by y'all guys, man.
Hey, if you want to start it, hit me up, hit up Mike, hit TA up. We'll get you on it, man. Tell you what you need, tell you how to get it started, and it takes a full-time commitment. I got an amazing woman who makes this possible for me to do this, and I'm telling you, it's no joke. People don't know how much work go into it, but it's a lot.
Yeah, so definitely, man. Yeah, I'm gonna be keeping in touch. I'm gonna always stay. Listen to you guys, man. I love y'all, man. Y'all rocking right now, bro.
Hey, appreciate
it, man. We appreciate it.
Far as it go, the sky's the limit for y'all, and that's how I'm looking at it, man. Because ain't nobody bringing it like y'all bringing it, bro. I don't care who out there. Ain't nobody bringing it like y'all bringing it. Y'all bringing facts.
Support that.
Bringing good commentary. Y'all all got different personalities and views, and it just meshed well, and it's good. It's good for the ears. So I'm happy for y'all, man. I really am happy for y'all, man.
Appreciate it.
And, I'm gonna keep up with Luke and Mike and whoever else gonna help me when I need to start my channel. I know who I'm coming to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Man, that's real right there. That's real.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I like to leave it on a more positive note. There are 7 rules of life. These don't have to be your rules, but there is just this basic concept for 7 rules. The 7 rules are let go. In other words, never hold on to things that you don't need to hold on to because it does nothing but hold you down. Ignore them. That is all the sounds, including yourself. When you doubt yourself and say that you can't do it, believe that you can and you will achieve it. Give it time because with everything, time must happen in order for you to have that success. Nothing is given to you right away. It is always earned. Don't compare. The only thing that you should ever compete against is yourself. And if you can't beat yourself, then at the end of the day, you will never win a good race. Stay calm. Patience is a virtue. You must have the ability and the peace of mind to understand that there's no situation that you can't handle or no situation that you will ever be put in that's going to be too much for you. It's on you to decide the outcome of it. And make sure that you smile. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please do me a favor. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to all the DSA members. And remember, don't be a chump. Please do your research. We are out.
Facts.
I'm living my best life. Ain't going back and forth with you. I'm living my best life. Ain't going back and forth with you. I'm living